Hey everyone, welcome back to Power Tips. Today we wanted to quickly talk about Ignite. So hopefully, as you guys know, Ignite's been going on this week in Redmond, and we have been getting lots of announcements. Of course, lots of talk about Power Tips. No, lots of talks about Copilot. This is Power Tips. I enjoyed the keynote yesterday where we were talking a lot about the Microsoft 365 Copilot and all of the cool ways we can use this to build documents and presentations faster, even being able to generate images in our presentations, just all within that one area. Lots of exciting things. So we have a few features that we want to talk about that are coming out. I don't think we're talking about some of the features coming for Dynamics 365. So make sure you check out the book of news that I think Heidi will link in the comments, in the session notes, and make sure you let us know your top features in the comments. All right, Malcolm, I'll pass it over to you to the feature that you were most interested in.
Yeah, there's so lots of good stuff. This one is not really in the realm of the Dynamics infrastructure, but maybe a little bit. So the big one that caught my eye, purely selfishly, I've been working on a lot of different projects, and we have the way we're kind of coordinating the tasks and everything to do with those projects is very sort of siloed, I guess is the best way to put it. And so I'm struggling a little bit with that personally because I'm having to go to a lot of different places to make sure that I'm seeing where everything is. And was just thinking earlier in the week, I just can't believe that we don't have this sort of funnel that captures tasks in all these places. And long and behold, do they not mention on Wednesday the new planner that's coming out that's going to essentially roll together to do Planner and Project for the Web, all of which are tools that we use. So this is really exciting for me because this is exactly what we kind of need to funnel all of those tasks, see everything. And again, managing multiple different projects, I really need a way to see everything from all of those across one plane of glass, right, so to speak. And so that's what this is going to bring, apparently. So I was really excited about that. Again, not really in the realm of the dynamic stack, a little bit in the planner for the web, right? Kind of has that look and feel to it, a sort of hybrid of planner, but excited, very excited about this one coming up because it's just very timely for me. Again, very selfish, but I think it'll benefit a lot of people out there because I know that this is not a unique challenge to the situation I'm referring to for sure.
Yeah,
So that's
I
the big
think that'll
one.
help for sure.
Yeah, and
Uh,
then I think arguably the bigger news is probably what Heidi's going to talk about as we get into what is it, Kylie? It's not Power Tip Studio, it's Copilot Studio.
Copilot Studio.
Great segue. Welcome to the Copilot Studio. The URL is copilotstudio.microsoft.com. What thing number one that I checked is this environment specific? And it is. Isn't that great? I can select my specific environment that I'm building this Copilot for. And there's an interesting new navigation here. So Copilots. What are your Copilots today? We can build a new one. Then there's the plugins area. And when you come into the plugins area, this looks like a way to package together Power Automate with a chatbot, and it's interesting. Then we have prompts. I'm not really sure what prompts is. It's maybe suggesting things that I should add to my Copilot. It's asking for AI models, create text, summarize documents, and more. It sure looks like AI builder type stuff and prompts, doesn't it? But then there's models,
It does.
and models also look like AI builders. So I'm not entirely sure what the
Hmm.
difference here is. You'll notice these things are in preview. What is not in preview is Copilot. So let's make a Copilot. When I click New Copilot, it takes me here. If any of you have been using Power Virtual Agents, your spidey senses might be tingling here, as mine were. Like, hey, I know this screen. This isn't Copilot. And that's because this is what was previously known as Power Virtual Agents. It's just completely been named, which also raises some questions. What if you're using Power Virtual Agents? What if you leverage that part of the Power Platform to run a PVA? Is that now a Copilot? What are the licensing implications? I don't know. I have a lot of questions about that, which I haven't seen any answers to. Do either of you have questions like that?
I have questions. I don't have answers.
Yeah. Well,
Agreed.
it's very simple. If you haven't seen Power Virtual Agents, right? Name your Copilot, give it a language. I think this is cool because we were limited in languages before. It looks like a lot of
Wow.
languages are supported here. And then boost your conversation with generative answers. So I'm going to add my website, crmheidi.com, and create. And we're going to create a CRM Heidi chatbot in the sales trial environment.
That's awesome.
And we will not edit this for time. So let's see how long it takes to actually create our Copilot. Remember, the only thing I did was enter a URL, and that's it. And that's going to launch this lovely AI Copilot that is going to query my website.
So before Wednesday, we already had Power Virtual Agents, and we already knew we were going to have the ability to give users a Copilot and customize Copilots for our users. But we
Yeah.
had heard that was all going to be powered on PVA. And so now the benefit is that, or the change is now all of that's going to be combined together in Copilot Studio, right?
Yep. So this is cool. I haven't seen this before. You can add images and video into your message, insert logic using equations, and build with intelligent authoring and answers, showing you cool things. Awesome. Power FX expressions. Ooh. All right. So we're
Heidi, your question, sorry to interrupt really quickly. Your
sure.
question earlier is churning in my brain. So I'm really curious, and if anybody has this experience, please chime in the comments. If you had PVA before, I'm wondering effective Wednesday if they sign in, is
It has to
this
be.
now it, right? That prompt that you just got is interesting to me, especially when they say new features in Copilot. It almost feels like it's a rebrand with a whole bunch of new functionality, right?
Yeah.
At the same time. So interesting.
All right. We're gonna try. I need to learn about Power Automate and see what happens because I have a series about Power Automate on my blog, and I'm curious. Is it just going to return information from that URL? It should. I shouldn't get any other sources. But Malcolm, I think I have an answer to that while this is sending, because on this other tab, I am at make.powerapps.com. We are in let me go into a solution file here. And if I go to new chatbot, guess what that does? Takes me to the same place, Microsoft Copilot Studio.
It's not
Well,
the
there you
same
have it.
URL though.
It's not the same URL. It's the PVA URL.
It has the same branding. There's
Yeah.
probably some updates still happening. Interesting.
All right. I need to learn about Power Automate. Oh,
And it worked
sweet.
that quickly. That's awesome.
Yep, and it's giving me my resources. Like, how did you get that? Oh,
That's awesome.
that's pretty cool. All right, and 3 references. So that works
Yeah.
as expected. You see how easy that was? On the right, just from adding a URL, it's got my trigger, the generative answers that it's creating, it's grabbing the data sources. We've got conditionals, ending topics. It's really cool stuff. And then, of course, you can come in and do generative AI and add additional things. I can add more than one website. Moderation here, how high, how low do I want it to be? That would be up. Oh, I don't actually want to do that. If I want to drag and drop some files here, so remember this was something that was coming soon that we couldn't see when we looked at Power Virtual Agents. So now you can actually add something here, which is pretty cool.
Are all those links references back to your site, or is it pulling anything external?
They're my site.
These are all just yours. So it's taking the single source that you provided and it's
Man,
looking at that. And I think the implications there are pretty substantial. I'm thinking about like even internal use, right? Like as an internal
100%.
way to get information. I know the little video that they had on one of the pages it's just a little demo video, and there's no talking. It's just the music going through, and the person asks a question about expenses and how much they have left, and it says, "We don't know," and then it points them to that internal site. And internal employee can now say, where do I sit? How much more do I have to claim, or whatever the use case might be? So what's the internal information I'm looking for, and get you that. So there's a lot of big use cases just in that alone, never mind external customer facing stuff. So that's pretty cool.
And I think some of that, Malcolm, you can also do without building a Copilot. Some of it's part of that Microsoft 365, just searching your organization as well.
Internally, yeah.
Mhm.
Even through Bing, I know that you can have that
Yeah.
strung up, right? That's been around for quite a while now. Sidebar note, Bing Chat is now being rebranded as well as part of announcements at Ignite. I think it was an Ignite announcement, right? That is it Copilot Chat or Chat Copilot, something like that? Or Bing Copilot, they've rebranded that as well. So lots of Lots of Copilot. I know in our last video I was like,
Copilot everywhere.
yeah, I'm so over the Copilot stuff because it's everywhere, but I guess I just need to deal with it because it
You
doesn't
can't
look like
be
it's
over
going to slow down.
it.
Fair enough.
Now
Very
I'm
cool.
curious here. Conversational plugins extend Copilot with these topics. So I don't have, this is a trial site. I don't actually have this. So turned off. AI plugins. This is interesting stuff. Do you guys have any other things you want to look at in here? Or is this good for our initial
I
foray into
don't.
Copilot?
I will kudos to you. It's one of the reasons I love the way you do your work, Kylie. You just dive right in, and I love that you were able to pull it up and show us on screen because had I thought about it, I read through the releases and everything, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna have to set aside some time. And in my head, I was like, block an afternoon off to really dig in and play, which is probably still a good idea. But you just did it in this. To Heidi's earlier point, this was not edited for time. That
No.
everything you just saw was real time. In a matter of what, like a couple of minutes, you're able to throw a chatbot together to answer some basic questions from a single source.
Mm,
So
a
that's really cool.
Copilot.
I'd love to play around with multiples, put in a bunch of sites and see how it deals with prioritizing the results and all that kind of stuff would be cool. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it's awesome. Kudos to you.
Yeah, so thanks everyone for joining us and hearing about some of the features that we heard about at Ignite. Lots of more exciting announcements, and I think it's still going on today. So make sure you check it out. Well, maybe not when this gets published, but either way, the content will be available. Make sure you check out the book of news and check out the recordings from sessions that you're interested in. And let us know down in the comments what else you want to hear and what your favorite announcements were. Thanks.